Welcome to This is Fitness, the podcast for the bodybuilding and all things fitness, bringing you real life version of the fitness industry from people who've lived and breathed it. We explore new trends and serious topics while dispelling myths and calling out stupidity within the fitness industry. Jimmy and Chris offer their unique insight, delivered with healthy sarcasm. Let's crush those fitness goals together. This is Fitness. And now your hosts, Jimmy Sadek and Chris Thomas.
Welcome, episode 9. This is Fitness. Me and Jimmy once again talking all things fitness and all things not. How are you, Jimmy?
Weekly recap.
Mate, I'm good. I'm under the pump, but I go good under the pump. So the things are moving like ridiculously fast, and I haven't got time to sit and stop and worry about how much sleep I'm getting or whatever. Mm-hmm. I find I'm really productive, and I don't really get that tired until the weekend where I get to like chill, especially on a Sunday. So like the new Nick Walker is saying, I'm thriving in chaos.
Right. And is this because of the new business opening up and everything else? Yeah. Right. That's
got something to do with it. Like this is my peak. This is like with work. This is my busy time. Like I don't know. Like I know you get busier through the comp times. I know everyone would think that like the New Year period would be the busiest kind of season. This is my busy time when everyone's got like 8 to 12 weeks before Christmas holidays. Like they've realized they've all got Christmas holidays booked and they're all fat as fuck. They all come just rolling in. So like I've picked up like 12 to 15 new clients, which equals 20 plus sessions.
Wow.
Over the last month. Which fits well. I'm still finishing work when I need to finish work. So that just means more programming, more check-ins, etc. But then on top of that, with the recovery center, we're opening next to the gym. Like demolition was this week, fit out starts on Friday. Just if I'm not working in the gym, I'm trying to set things up for the recovery center. Just getting quotes. Like I've got to pay, once this is finished, I've got to call the sauna and the cold plunge people to put the deposit down on that. Dealing with the bank, just trying to lock in trades. Look, it's fucking fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun. And it's exciting, and I'm just trying to get it going before the new year. So
are you on track for this soft opening, you reckon?
No. I still think we are, but everyone else thinks I'm fucking crazy. Yeah. So I want like December 15, December 20. Once things get rolling, like I don't know. I work on a 24-hour day where most people work on an 8-hour day. You know, so like they'll look at it and go, oh, there's only fucking like 38 hours in a week or whatever. I'm like, well, there's well over 100 just if you want to work it. So we'll see. Look, the equipment will be in, because the majority of the equipment's got to go in before the walls go up because they're too big for the rooms. Right. They can't go through the doors. So you got to build the equipment will be there. It just depends on whether I'm willing to let the public come through before it's all finished or not. Be the deciding factor. Like I know I'm not going to get the sign up outside probably before Christmas and those kind of things, but if we can be kind of functioning on the inside, like we've got to get our processes and just get used to the public using the things too. So something will be going on before Christmas if I have my own way.
Well, that's good.
What about yourself?
You
sent me some videos over the weekend. You were working hard outside.
You know what? Actually, before I say that, I'm the same as you, man. Like what you said to me. Normally, I'm peaking around contest season, which is true. I'm actually busier now by a long way post comp season than what I was prior. Like there's something a little bit different about the way that this year's ending. You know, as you sort of start to think you're winding down, things have just gotten quite busy, which is really good. So it's really good in that aspect. But then I'm the same. I'm the same as you. I've got to get my work done at a certain time. I've got to get it done structured, and otherwise I just don't get it finished, which I never don't get it finished. But it's got to be done that way because the weekends, as you said, like the whole deck frame is down now. And then we just got to level it. So my boy Nathan's coming this weekend, maybe tomorrow afternoon. What's today? Wednesday? No, Friday. And we're going to level it and then start putting the boards on. I had to go and buy timber yesterday too. So that was another adventure, sort of covering a deck that's 12 meters by 5. It's quite large. So,
Not cheap at the moment either.
And I actually got a good price on the wood. I was expecting to spend probably about $5 or $6 grand on the top. But I got it for a fair bit less than that, which is amazing. And I got the one I wanted as well. So I'm pretty wrapped. So that's paid for and getting delivered tomorrow. So I don't know, man, we're on track. It'll be a soft opening for the birthdays, let's say.
What date is that? What date's your birthday again?
Well, get this. So my best mate, Nathan, he's 2 days before mine, 17. I'm 19 and his wife is 20th. So it's the 3 of us all together. So it makes for a good birthday every year.
Oh no! What have you got plans yet?
No, not really. We try not to make too many plans. We just let it go.
So what day? It's the 13th today. So in 4 days it's your birthday.
No, 4 days it's Nathan's. 5 days it's 6 days it's mine, and then 7 it's Andrew's.
So your birthday's next Tuesday.
It is.
Okay. So yeah. I'm actually contemplating a day trip to Queensland next week.
You should do it.
Well, because they've got good, like there's a few recovery centres up there, and they're in Brisbane that are good. That they shit on the ones in New South Wales.
Really?
Yeah. Whether it's the rent or I don't know, or Brisbane's a little bit smaller and it's more. I don't know. But there's like 3 or 4 that I want to go and like do a little bit of R&D on.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I was thinking about flying up early, doing a circuit.
Yeah.
Getting a workout in somewhere.
Yeah. And
then just flying out the last flight, maybe like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was going to decide that by like Thursday, Friday. But if your birthday's on Tuesday, I might come up with your birthday lunch or something.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then we'll have a train during the day sometime on that day.
That'd be good. I could go visit 2 places, see you. We do food or work out food.
Yeah.
Go buy cheesecake.
Yeah.
And then I'll go do a couple more at the other, maybe. Yeah, I'll sort that tonight, probably.
All right, done.
So, done. But yeah, everything is on track for your backyard to summer then, obviously, yeah?
Look, another couple of weeks it'll be done, but Christmas time for the little festive bit, it'll be completely finished. So I'm looking forward to spending a fair bit of time out there, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've locked in New Year's at my house again for our New Year's evening.
I have you?
Yeah, but it'll start lunchtime because then I've got kids now.
Yeah, true.
So it'd be more like a barbecue thing, especially if it's going to be good weather.
Yeah.
We'll make the most of the backyard.
Of course.
Bodybuilding news.
So what else happened this weekend? The bodybuilding world. I think the Romanian show was on.
Romanian Pro, yeah.
I believe. I think everyone's G'd up for this weekend for the Prague show with Bumstead.
Right.
But Rafael Brandao got the win. I think he looked better at the Olympia. Followed closely by Akeem.
He did look better?
He did look better, yeah.
Right.
Followed closely by Akeem, but I think that was a little, not controversial, but like Akeem was pretty pissed off when he got second, so he thought he should have won. It could have gone both ways, you know what I mean? But like, Brandao is just prettier. And he beat him in the Olympia, so it kind of makes sense. But what is coming up this weekend? 2 things. First thing, Stipe versus Jones.
That's this weekend.
That's this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I've already put on the calendar on the fridge for Verity. After 2 p.m., fuck off. I'm in front of the TV, I ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, I do the same, man. I just get the pay-per-view and I just close all the windows, turn it up loud, and just sit there.
That's it. So what do you reckon? Who you got?
Uh I don't know, man. Look, I think Jones will win. I like Stipe though. Like as a, dude, it's hard not to like the guy. You know what I mean? He's one of those people can't not like him. So I don't know. Will they retire is the question. Will they both retire after this, or will Jones give someone the opportunity to beat him? So I don't know. I'm in two minds over this one. I think, don't be wrong, like at the end of your career, do you give someone the opportunity to knock you over when they've probably got no right to, and they're in their prime?
Yeah.
And you're not. I'm not saying he isn't. He could be. Who knows?
Well, he's clearly not in his prime,
Yeah,
but
right.
but it's still John Jones. Like
it is.
He knows how to win, basically.
Yeah. But like in saying that too, like being fair to, Aspinall's obviously the one in position to have a crack.
Yeah.
Do you give the dude in his prime a chance to knock you off at the end so he says he beat you when you're clearly probably not at your best? Or do you just pack it up and just finish up with the zero at the end of the thing? I don't know, man. I'm in two minds with that.
It depends on how good he feels. Like he hasn't fought much in 5 years, right?
That's right.
Hypothetically, if he walks through Stipe, like he walked through Cyril Gane, which he probably won't, but like if it's quite a dominant victory, it'd be fucking stupid to not do it. Like there's got to be a point in your ego when you're that good to go, no one can beat me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, as good as Aspinall is, he's not at that age. When John Jones was that age, John Jones was so much better than him.
Yeah.
So whether he can hold on enough to still whoop him, I don't know. Look, every fight I've seen with John Jones is he just rises to whatever occasion he needs to rise to.
Right.
So the fighter isn't that good. He doesn't fight that good, but he still wins. And if you do, like, if you break both Stipe and John Jones down, striking Stipe's better.
Yep.
Like wrestling, they're probably on par. Kicking, subs, John Jones probably better. It's super even.
Yeah.
I still lean towards John Jones because he just knows how to win. Like everything he does, he just wins. So, and the fact that like he goes out on a bender a week before the fight is impressive.
Well done.
Yeah, like it's a pretty smart thing to do, but it gives you an out, so there's no pressure. Really, like it can take away some pressure. Like if I go shit today, fucking, I'll just blame the bender.
So, like, okay, well, seeing as we're on that topic, then let's dive into it a little bit. So, should they be banned for those as performance-enhancing drugs?
Well, it's a week prior.
Well,
and they can't be. It's not a performance enhancer.
Well, that's my point. So, do they need to categorize and go, listen, you can do these things. It's up to you if you want to be a dick or not a dick, or you just can't use gear.
Look, I think it'd be a different story if he's fucking doing a line in the corner.
Well, in front of people.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't. Look, if it come up in the test, then maybe it could be illegal. But are they testing for wreck drugs, or are they even testing it all these days?
Well, I think every test they've always done, they're testing for it. Because that's how he's got busted, 65 times for it.
Yeah, true. True. But I can't really, I don't know.
You know what? Mike Tyson was apparently doing the same thing. So,
on the Tyson's fight, that's the second thing. That's on this weekend. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
Right. Is that this weekend too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
don't know how I feel about that one either.
Look, if the world is right and just,
right,
Tyson wins.
Yeah.
And I think that the world's kind of tilted back to a good direction since Trump got in as president.
Right.
So maybe things are evening back up. So Tyson can't lose to Jake Paul. Like he can because he's old now. But it just wouldn't. It doesn't sit right. Do you know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Like if Tyson whoops Jake Paul, it'd be like, yeah, that's normal. Like cool. Like everything's normal. But to see Jake, like, say, knocked out Tyson, which I don't think he will, it just wouldn't sit right.
Mm.
In saying that,
that's what people are tuning in for. They're tuning in to see if he can.
Tyson's in good fucking shape.
He is.
He's in good shape.
I wouldn't fight him.
I wouldn't fight Jake either. But Tyson just did, like, he's still got mad quotes. Like, even he said Jake's he called him a fabricated killer. Like, they've like kind of like through social media and whatever, they've kind of molded him into this knockout artist, this like killer. Where Tyson's like, I'm just a natural born killer. Do you know what I mean? So he's still. You can see if you've watched the interviews for like the last year about this fight and watched Tyson in interviews, you've seen his demeanor like slowly change.
Yeah.
To where he's at the moment, which is it's quite scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still want to pick. I still need a pick, Chris.
Oh, from me?
Yeah.
No, Tyson.
Yeah, you have to.
Tyson will get him. Seriously, if it's not rigged, Tyson will get him. I still think he will.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm big Tyson too.
Yeah. So there you go. John Jones and Tyson. There's my weekend picks.
If you can bet on the Jake Paul Tyson fight.
Can you? I don't know.
I
don't bet, so I got no idea about that stuff. Hey,
I bet very badly.
Do you? I don't even know how it works. I haven't even seen the apps on phones and stuff.
Yeah, it's more. If you bet on it's boring betting on the favorites because you're going to win like fucking not that much.
Yeah.
So obviously it's better to go on the outsiders.
Yeah.
But then you generally lose. So it's either win a little bit or lose a bit.
Yeah, like what? Bet 100.
It's lose.
Bet 100 so you can win 110.
Yeah, so that's a bit pointless. But what was I going to tell you?
Training and nutrition.
Yes. So based on, we'll keep everyone up to date with my diet. Chris has dropped my protein this week. Thanks a lot. I go from comfortable to instantly hungry.
Yeah. Overnight.
And it was only a teeny weeny drop. But no, I feel good for it though. I do notice the my digestion's improved. Like I said, I do feel a bit hungry, but like when I'm trying to get lean, I prefer to be a bit hungry. And I can see the drop in calories. You know, when you're kind of like, you're not as full, but you're still kind of the same level of fatness.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's the part that every bodybuilder hates.
Yeah, the fat and flat stage. I've dropped back into that flat stage. So like I trained today, where like last week I got a mad back pump. This week I trained and I was like, not that much pump.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to plan to have a look at it. You're still around 3 grams per kilo.
Oh, yeah, it's expensive. The difference between now and 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have freaked out. Yeah. Now I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'll be leaner come Friday.
You will. Yeah. What about your training? How's that going?
Yeah, training's good. I'm making sure that I'm like, whereas before, if I was a little bit tired or whatever, I've trained. I'll get 4 days in this week, whatever. I'm making an effort to get there. Like usually, I like to come home from work, have my pre-workout, sit down for a bit, go train. Where now I'm just driving straight from work to the gym, getting in there, getting it out and done, just to make sure I get it in. So, but training's solid. It's good. It's an hour, 50 minutes to an hour 10 max, and I'm moving. Like I follow your tempo stuff, and your setup for the back routine. Everything else, my intensity is super high. Whether I'm super setting, drop setting, like there's not much time in between sets. I just maximize my time there because my time is poor.
Yeah.
And so like Sunday mornings I go very early and do legs so I can take my time and kind of enjoy it a little bit more. But like during the week, it's just, all right, I get to the gym, I've got 50 minutes. All right, I've only got 50 minutes. So
I think people should think a little bit more about being efficient like that, because you know, if you actually time correctly in between your sets and adhere to a time frame, and you follow everything correctly, and you train for 60 minutes, right? For example, there's a lot of work that gets done in that time, you know. And I think that's the other thing too, is that's why it's important to time and do all these things and make sure. So you don't realize sometimes when you just stop for a second, look around, listen to a song, someone says something to you. If you've got your stopwatch on the ground going and have a look, sometimes you can go 8 minutes and you in between, right? And those are the things that just make the whole session inefficient and make it last too long. And people all the time going, "Oh, I like to train for 2 hours." Bullshit. You'd like to train for 2 hours. You can't even train for 2 hours.
yeah.
You're occupying the space for 2 hours, you know? So
well, I do it like I don't need a stopwatch, but I just go on my breathing. So obviously earlier in the workout, you're not as cooked. You know, so you're going to recover from your set faster. Your breathing gets back into control a lot quicker. So therefore, my time in between sets is a lot quicker. And then as the workout goes on, I'm more taxed. My breathing takes a little bit longer to get back into check. But I also, in anticipation for that, I put my heavier things later on in the workout too. Because I get through the isolation stuff. I get through the stuff that I don't need to be too strong on early. And then the bigger stuff that I want to actually take a little bit of time in between sets. I know I do that later on, like in the second half of the workout. I'm going to be taking a little bit longer in between sets anyway. So it kind of works with the setup of the workout when I'm trying to be like time efficient or getting in and getting out. And it kind of worked yesterday. Yesterday I went and trained chest, and Dad called me after 20 minutes and said he had the jet. He picked up Apollo for me. So my workout was 20 minutes, but I'd got 3 real solid exercises in. I wasn't that mad. And that was because I start the workouts quite fast.
See, it's interesting you do that. Like, and there's no right, wrong ways here with this stuff. I do it the opposite way completely. So like, I will have my bigger rests at the beginning of the workout, and then as the workout progresses, I cut down. So we could probably segue into this a little bit with that as well. Yeah. It's like, let's say I start with 90 seconds rests in between sets. I might do 90 seconds for the first 2 movements, or maybe even 3 movements, and then I'll go to 60 for that, and I work my way down. Whereas that's if I'm training in like a sarcoplasmic style, which we'll talk about it in a second. If I'm training myofibrillar style, the rest are a bit bigger. So I might start with 120s rests in between, and then go 90s, 90s, and then end with a 60. Whereas the others, I might end with a 30 or a 45. So it's kind of like, I like the feeling of it too, because when you look at a program, you look at it sitting there, it's a lot of work, right? And then when you get halfway through it, even though you've still got half of the work to do, you know that the second half of it's going to take not as long, because even though those rest periods suck, it actually just really propels you through the workout too as well. So, yeah.
So I like it. My way works because obviously my recovery, because of my lack of sleep, is shit, right? So if I was to, I've mentioned this in a couple of episodes before, if I was to start like you start, Chris, I'd be too strong.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd put my CNS in too much of a hole.
Yeah.
To get out of the next day, and I wouldn't be able to come back. So if I just work in pump and I isolate and pre-exhaust whatever I'm training, then when I move into the compound shit, I'm not as strong. So the CNS ain't going to take a whack, but the muscle doesn't know like that. That's not now 100 kilos in the bar. It's only 60 because it's fatigued. It's still going to feel like whatever the fuck it feels like for however many reps I'm doing. But my CNS stays intact, and I can keep coming back day after day. And my recovery is so much better than if I go in and I feel strong like one day on a weekend or whatever, and I go, let's fucking send it, cook for a day or so. So like it's definitely like regardless, like training should be individualized. Like we've all got a blueprint. Like you've got your style that you love and that that works. But if you have someone like me, you alter that program.
Correct.
Dependent. It's not like just go, okay, here's your one, you just do this. Here's your one, you just do this. It doesn't work like that.
So, and that's the issue, isn't it? That's why customization is the biggest thing, and that's why the biggest issue here is that proper training programs that are written correctly for that person, they take time and they take effort. That's why I always like, or not like, I actually don't like, but like as in sarcastically, when people turn and go, can you whip me up a quick program? A quick program? What is it like? Is it running or something? Is that why it's quick? Or does quick mean you don't want to pay for it? Quick as in like, won't take you long, so you can't charge me for it. Man, the amount of thought that should go into a program when you consider the person's ability, the person's parameters, and injuries that they have, what they're trying to achieve, and also what phase that they might be in, and what style of training or hypertrophy you're trying to do in that particular period. I just don't see how you can do a quick program. But then again, I've seen some programs, and some programs just go like this: bench press 3x12, barbell rows 3x12. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what's your tempo? What's your rests? What's everything? You know, it's like ridiculous. It's just like writing notes down. So yeah.
Oh, like it depends on. Like I'll add. Look, I don't train with tempo or nothing like that, right? But I'll add, depending on where the person's at with their training too, or if I've PT'd them in the past, and like some people need tempo to slow themselves down. Whereas like other people, if I put tempo in their thing, I know they're so retarded, like they're so fucking ADHD that they ain't going to stick to it anyway. You know? Like even with exercise selection, I don't think is as important with some people as opposed to sets and number of reps, because especially they're going to train a peak period. You go, when do you train, right? Like we train awesome times, anywhere between like
amazing
10 and 1 a.m., 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., right?
Yeah.
But if you're training at peak time, you don't have the luxury to go, okay, you have to do pec deck, followed by incline bench press, then flat dumbbell press, and then machine press, because the shit going to be taken. So I'd give them not a variety of exercises, but like a type of incline. So if we're talking about chest, I'll just do it. I'll write incline chest movement, but follow my sets, reps, and tempo. Not so much. I'm not too fussed on what exercise they get to choose, because if their gym's packed, I don't want them to be waiting for 25 minutes just to go, okay, I need to use this one in line, and then this one's next. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think in regards to the tempo thing, right? I think that what people are missing with the tempo thing and is that look, every movement someone does is a tempo. Now, whether they're just flinging it around, it's still going to be some sort of a 1-0-1-0, and that's with sort of, you know, minimal in the eccentric range, and also in the concentric range as far as tempo. But if you look at doing a larger tempo in the eccentric range, you're essentially taxing the strongest part of the muscle load. So if you look at something, right, and think of it this way: if you're going to do 4 seconds down, for example, which is just an easy one to pick, if you're doing 4 seconds down, now let's say a person can bench 140 Ks. Let's say 100. Fuck it. Let's just go 100 Ks, right? And that's what they can press out, okay, and press up at 10 reps. They can't press 140 Ks, right? But if the weight was low, was sitting there in the advantageous position, and they were just to do the negative phase, they'd actually still be able to control the heavier weight in the negative phase, because you're stronger through the negative phase or the eccentric phase. And that's the thing about tempos that people just don't look at, is you're really trying to tax the strongest part of the working phase by doing those sorts of things. And that's the things that people omit. I get it all the time. People going, oh, I don't like these tempos. Mate, good. You don't like it. Good. You should do it. That's the way it works, you know? So I think that's the other thing with that. And also different tempos are targeting different types of styles of hypertrophy. So obviously if you're doing longer eccentrics, you're doing a more myofibrillar style with lower reps, bigger rest periods. So you're directly targeting the myofibrils within the muscle cell, which are the sort of like rod-like fibers, if you want to say that. So it's a more strength-orientated phase, bigger tempos, 4010s, 3010s, things like that. And your rest could be 180, 120, 90, things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one's a sarcoplasmic style, and you're targeting the increase of sarcoplasmic fluid within the muscle cell. So by doing that, you're obviously, it's more metabolic. You're doing higher reps, you're having shorter rest periods, and you're also doing less shorter tempo. So you might be doing 2010s. But the premise behind that is you're trying to increase, as I said, sarcoplasm, and you're trying to increase glycogen storage massively in those sort of things. So I think that people just need to differentiate what they're trying to do, and also appreciate the fact that they need to vary those particular styles in between to avoid adaptations as well.
Are you opposed to doing both types in the one workout?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Fuck. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, the OCD in me goes, no, I'd stick to one and just go, you know what, just concentrate on this phase and then do it for 6 to 8 weeks. And at the end of the 6 to 8 weeks, say to yourself, whilst I'm adhering to this 4010 or 3010, and it could differ through the workout, and I'm doing this particular rest period, this amount of sets, at the end of the 6 weeks, am I stronger? Right? Now, if the food supports growth or surplus, then you're going to, if you're stronger, you're going to be bigger. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
If obviously, if your food is in deficit, then, you know, you're trying to get leaner. So it's a different story. That's, I'm
gonna weave.
Okay.
Can you get bigger on a deficit? I know the answer.
All right, you answer it then.
Depends on how much gear you're taking. That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
No,
so you'd be stronger if you stuck to the one and then move into the other.
Well, one of them is more strength. My fibula is more strength orientated. So I think that over the progression over a 6 or 8 week period, you would notice more poundage being lifted and an increase in that over that 8 week period, where when you're doing higher reps and you're doing 12 to 20s and things like that, and you're doing shorter rest periods, there's not a lot of room for, you will increase in strength, but there's not a lot of room. You might only increase over an 8 week period, 5 kilos or something on a movement, let's say, but that's a lot. But the strength increase that you get during that phase really will manifest in the next phase, in the myofibrillar phase. Then you'll actually start to realize. That's why back in the day, right? Do you remember when they used to always talk about with the strength athletes that when they used to hit plateaus, Poliquin used to do this all the time. When they hit plateaus, he used to throw in German volume training for about 4 weeks or so, right in the middle of it. And then they used to report, these, strength increases post doing this, GVT. And it was interesting because a lot of the strength increases weren't visible whilst they were doing that GVT phase. But it wasn't until they went into the next phase, which was strength oriented, that the gains and the strength gains manifested in the next phase. So I don't know. I think people just need to give that sort of stuff a little bit more thought and a little bit more planning. And the reason is apart from the things that I've labeled, I think more so for to avoid adaptation. Yeah. That's a big thing because adaptation is a handbrake.
See, I've had success with like that with clients. Just stick to the same exercises, get stronger with the exercise. You get stronger, you're going to get bigger, obviously. Blah blah
Right.
blah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the number one way to get bigger when you're writing a program for someone who's going to follow up on their own.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of clients that I've increased their body part size, like we just talk legs, right?
Yeah.
Hasn't been through that type of training. It's been through it's just constant not allowing them to adapt to a certain type of training.
Right.
It's more, and look, you can't do this on your own. You need to be with a trainer.
No.
But it's got to do with how they walk into the session too. So I need to maximize their workout for that week. regardless of how they're feeling, right? So if I was trying to get them stronger every week,
Yeah.
and they had a cracker session last week, but then this week they've had a fight with their missus,
Yeah.
or fucking their dog died, or like whatever, right? And they're just not in
Mhm.
their headspace. I can't give them the same workout because they're not going to hit the same numbers. So based on how they come in and see me, like I'll ask them a few questions, just how you going? How's the day been? Like, how'd you sleep last night? Fucking blah, blah, blah. With that info, and then their performance usually on the first exercise, I can take the workout somewhere where I can give them a 10 out of 10 workout, regardless of their feelings.
So the common denominator there is you, right? Because you're pushing them in that. So your version of avoiding adaptation in that scenario is that you're taking them to 100% capacity every time, right?
Yeah, but
regardless.
100%.
But if you left them off their own device, they wouldn't do that. And that's the difference, right? And then it goes back to what you said before. In an ideal world, if someone was doing the similar movements right through, and a lot of people do this, the avoiding adaptation in that scenario is them lifting more and more. And that's the other variable. So there's many different variables. It's just that I just like to favor differing things to create strength and balance throughout. And that doesn't mean the others don't do those things. It doesn't mean that. It's just what you said is valid. Well, it's more than valid. But the bottom line is that if they didn't have Jimmy Sadek there on that day, pushing them to 100%, that they would knock out a 50% session and go home.
Yeah, true. And there's different ways to get people to fit to 100%, but they need to be pushed there. Whereas I think if we were to compare the two, the one that's going to be the most consistently successful is the way that you program. And then you got the outliers. Right. I think, and that need to target specific body parts as opposed to the whole. Is where the way that I do things come in. But those two different types of programs, I was just going to program it the way that I train them. And your program, the way that you like to program, your program will win a 10 out of 10. With the one that I do, it's just based on me being there, I think. But I lost my train of thought. No, well, basically what you said. So it because I could take the intel and plug it in and then make the session up on the spot based on that, where but it'd still be like if I wrote that kind of a session, that would still not take into that intel on that day. You know what I mean? Whereas a more consistent approach would be your consistent approach.
It also comes down to personality types too, as well. Like, because for myself personally, I need to see the number written on the paper, right? Literally. And if I see the number on the paper, I'll hit the number. Like, don't get me wrong, if you're working in the upper percentiles of your ability, there are going to be days where you don't hit the number. But the difference is, if you go in there and don't know what that number is, you've got no chance of hitting it. You know what I mean? That's a big thing, and I need to see that. The other side of it too is I actually like to physically write with a pen my stuff on paper while I'm in the gym. I like that transfer between my brain, my hand, and writing the thing down. So there's a lot of little idiosyncrasies, if you want to call it, involved in the whole thing for me, you know?
It's so funny. Like you saying that you'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Like me, if I had to do that, I don't think I'd train. I can't. Honestly, it's funny. I'll say I wanted it to be minimalistic when I walk around with a fucking a machine.
I know.
Right?
I know.
But like, if I had to write down after every set, honestly, I wouldn't do it. And I think with me as well, if I had the number on the sheet of paper and I didn't hit it this week, my workout would be fucking ruined. First exercise in, over, because I didn't hit the number. You know, like, whereas it's so funny how, and look, obviously, everyone's way. If you find a way that works for you, it's going to work.
100%.
The other way might work better, right? But if I don't enjoy doing it, I don't think it'll work that good either.
Well, I agree with that to a degree as well. But then the other side of it too is the enjoyment factor of the workout means you're doing stuff you like doing, which once again, you know my opinion on that too. So a lot of the time I do programs and people just like look at it and go, I don't know about this one. I don't like this high rep one. It's not high reps, man. They're 15s, like it's hypertrophy, right?
Yeah.
I like the lower ones better. Well, because they feel different. There's the word feel. They feel different. One burns more, feels like a blowtorch is in your muscles, and the other one just is a dull, roaring kind of pain that doesn't feel the same. So we've all got our favorite things, man. Like if I had a choice to train all the time, I would train myofibrillar style. It just suits my mental state better. I enjoy doing between 6 and 12 all the time. I enjoy the slower tempo. As soon as I get out there and I'm doing fucking 60 seconds rest and I'm doing 15, 20 rep sets, man, you know what it's like when you're 8 reps into a set and you got to do 20, you're a long way from home. You're in the middle of the set and you start playing games with yourself. You're going, okay, let's break it up into fives. Let's break it up into fives and I'll count 5 and then go to the next 5 because you can't sit there and go 8, 9, 10, okay, 11, 12. We've got to get to 20. You got to play games with yourself to do it. You know,
it's always fives for me. Yeah.
and then every now and again, you get someone that enjoys doing the high rep shit. And it's like, really? Like how? You know, but I do both, man, but you know, begrudgingly, that's the point. And I do it because I know I have to, but also I'd feel like a hypocrite because whatever I give my clients, I do myself. So food wise too.
I look, I like to incorporate both styles into all my workouts.
Yeah.
And like I think if I was still like a competitive, like if I was still competing or if I needed, I like last season I did a show. I look at my physique. Okay, fuck, I've got to improve these areas.
Yeah,
I would probably lean into the shit that I don't like doing. That's like being proven for results.
Yeah,
that you kind of steer away from because you don't like it and it doesn't feel nice. So, but like where I'm at the minute, like I knew like where with the programming that we were doing and the diet, I was like, okay, like I know my back sucks big dick. All right, Chris, show me like write something that's going to fix my back. Right? Because obviously what I'm doing with my back isn't working. Right? So it's like, so I understand in that regard, and I think depending on where the person is at is whether they just want to get in shape. Getting in shape, all you need to do is follow a plan and just train how you like. Just train.
Agreed.
But if you want to make significant improvements to the physique, there's got to be a kind of a structure or a plan that we've got to follow.
And that's why I said I said before it's got to be specific to what they're trying to do. I mean, Jimmy, you remember when I had the gym on the Gold Coast, right? So we used to sit there because we used to close the gym in the middle of the day. No one was allowed in, right? And we just used to line up 10 things in a row. Remember? And we used to sit there and just do 10 sets straight. And then the other person would rest while the other person did 10 sets straight. Yeah. And we'd do it 3 times round and we'd both be laying on the ground sick. And that would be it. You know, we've done everything, tried everything.
Yeah.
So
like it's and look that like I think everything's fucking good. Everything serves a purpose. Like and when you're young and dumb and you're just full of energy and like you've got not much to really worry about, almost anything, as long as you train fucking hard, gonna work. You know, I just think that that's where like the pivots come in, like every 8 to 10 years, where like, all right, like when we were both young, we were flinging heavy weight, yeah. And as we get older and our tendons fucking stiffen up and age and all that shit,
and you start to get scared too.
Yeah, because you see all this shit happening around you, you know, and like I tell everyone like between like 18 and 28, like it's just move as much weight as I fucking can. I don't care. Then 28 to like 35, it was more, all right, let's move as much weight, but like half machine, half free weights, you know. Now, like you'd be lucky to catch me on a free weight, really. Like outside a dumbbell curl or whatever. Like I'm mainly in machines, but I feel that I can push appropriately, safely, and it kind of looks after my joints and that a little bit more, a little bit more longevity. You'd say.
Well, it's what it's about as you get older, isn't it? Longevity and about being able to be in there. The longer you spend out of there, you can't improve when you're not in the gym. So,
yeah. How have you twaddled with your diet lately, or is it still kind of the same?
Mate, I've actually, it's actually interesting you asked me that. I actually dropped a bit of weight over the last 2 weeks without trying, and I hadn't changed my food. Expenditure's still the same. Probably training intensity's up, definitely, but not enough for the weight to drop the way it has. I'm visibly leaner, right? And people can see it. And they're going, "Are you trying to be lean?" I'm going, "No, I'm actually haven't been trying." So I don't mind the way I look, but I'm probably about 3 kilos lighter than what I was 2 weeks ago, which is strange. But the last week I increased my protein intake because it's something, what I'm like. It's not like I don't like eating protein. I do. I love it. But I always kind of, if I'm eating 2 grams per kilo, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I find it's easy on the stomach. Don't really need too much in the way of digestive enzymes, things like that. But I can't deny, man, when I eat more protein, my body visually looks better, right? And that's the facts. So I increased 1 meal a day. So that was the big thing. And I've increased the protein portion size across the board. And mate, I feel heaps better. Like I look better, feel better. So my calories are up about 500 calories. So
what you took off me, you put into yourself.
Say it again.
What you took off me, you gave to you.
Yeah, I took the protein out of your plate and put it in mine.
I want to feel better, so I'll make Jimmy feel worse.
You're just in that little in-between bit where you just, the glycogen storage isn't as big as it normally would be. Yeah. And you're in that bit where that's coming down. All it'll take is about a week or two, and then all of a sudden you'll get leaner, and then everything tightens up again. You'll go, "Oh fuck, I look pretty good now."
Yeah. I tell you what, I don't mind not being able to get a pump. I train harder.
When you don't get one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck's my pump now? Like, and I'll keep going. Whereas if I walk into the gym full blown, I get a pump after 15 reps. I'm like, man, I can chill now. I'm good to go. Like, I can literally leave and I've got what I wanted out of today. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, I don't actually mind it. Like, I like the phases for what they are. Like, that's what I've learned over the last like 10 years, to just roll with whatever phase you're in and make the best of it, and understand that every phase has to be there to do the job.
Right. Well said. That's the like, process.
Like when I'm dying, when I'm trying to get lean, Chris, like I want to be flat. Like I look forward to being flat, because when I feel flat, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm getting lean.
Right. So think about it this way. Okay. If you're in deficit, for example, and you're dropping, okay, and let's say you drop to 100 Ks, just for a round number. I know you're miles more than that, but just for a round number. And let's say you drop to 100 Ks on the way down, right? And then this is how 100 Ks can look very different. This is how people doctor photos, and this is how people are also quite stupid too, right? Yeah. And let's say you go past that point and you get to about 95, like just say, and then all of a sudden you load up, okay? All of a sudden that 100 kilos that you are now loaded looks 10 times different to that 100 kilos that was on the way down, because one's full of glycogen and one's not. And that's what makes me laugh. A lot of these people that they put up these progress photos and stuff, they're putting up progress photos of someone who's improved out of sight. Well, it's just he's depleted in one photo and he's in deficit on the way down. And you just loaded him up. So someone a while ago did an interesting post about the differing looks during a comp prep phase at the same weights. And it was actually a good post. But it's like that, man. It's those phases of prep that you go through. It's like, let's say hypothetically, 20 weeks out, you're big and round, you're filling out your shirt, you're robust. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you drop the calories. 4 weeks in, your shirt's a bit looser, but you take your shirt off and there's no lines there yet. So you just
feel look worse when you started. Yeah.
Worst fucking thing, right? Then you keep going, you get to about 12 weeks and a couple of lines start to appear and you start to get a little bit, oh yeah, maybe. Then you get to about 8. And then all of a sudden there's lines appearing everywhere. And all of a sudden you've forgotten about the fact that your shirt's loose. And now all it's about is condition. And then it changes. It's funny how the emotional roller coaster from one end to the other goes through until you get to the point where here it's just about stretching your shirt, and down here all it's about is having veins all over your whole body.
The best, I think, the best I feel and the happiest I am with how I look and feel and the combination of everything in a prep 100% is around the 8 to 6 to 5 week out if I'm pushing it. But that 3 weeks, like if anyone said, what would you prefer and that you could have forever? I would say 6 weeks outlook, right? You've got
question.
Yes.
I bet you're not any weaker at that point either.
No.
Like
why? Like it's you've got a mad level of fullness. You're lean as shit still before you get to like into the real conditions phase where the fullness goes away until the show. You're strong as fuck in the gym. You got enough energy to do shit, right? Plus, at that 6 weeks out mark, you're kind of going from the slower type compounds to the faster type compounds. So you kind of got like a double synergy. So you're on twice the amount of gear.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just a good time. It's a good time to be alive then. Like, it's training's still fun. Before it turns to dog shit 4 weeks out. Like, that's a good phase to be in, but you don't get to that phase unless you go through the other shit phases.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I tell everyone. Like, you got to go through that 6 to 8 weeks of like almost feeling like you're going backwards. You're eating all this healthy food and you're starting to look worse. Like and then you wake up one morning and then it'll be like, all right, I'm on now.
And then once the show's done, then you get this one.
Oh, I was going to say this one.
This little chestnut. As soon as the show's done, the next day, I look better the next day after the show, and I'm just going to I'm going to do this the day before the show, so I look like this. Oh, man, I hear that. I'm just like, I can't believe what I'm hearing. I'm going, dude, the only reason you think you look better is because you're sitting around normal humans out in the sunlight at a cafe. Okay, if you're on stage, you'd look like a waterlogged bag of crap. It's as simple as that. I get it all the time. Well, my body can take so much more carbs. Well, it may have if you were actually lean enough to take them in the first place.
What? They're like 2 weeks post show.
Oh yeah.
They're like, off season's going great. I'm 10 kilos up.
Yeah, great.
I can't. You just not a rebound.
Yeah.
Like,
10 kilos of water and mud.
There's no off season 2 weeks after a show, mate.
You're not even training. Relax.
No, like, don't get me wrong. The off season, the rebound post show managed correctly is a fun one.
But everyone's enthusiastic, man. Everyone wants to get back in the gym straight after a show because they're lean and they just want to look in the mirror. Like, seriously,
recent trend. Tell me this recent trend about health phase.
Look, I don't even know what it is. I mean, no, I can imagine what it is. It's like everything. Everyone is just, trying to add bits and pieces into their thing to, improve, make them seem like they've got some other method that other people aren't doing.
So back in the day, Ronnie and Jay and all those top Olympians used to do their health phase.
Yeah, they come off
the gym for 3 months.
They just come off
3 months post Olympia, right? That's a good health phase. Unless you're on stage at 120, right? Fuck your health phase post show. You need to utilize a rebound because that is the most optimum time to grow.
Yeah, but even when they do the health phase, right? They do the health phase and they go, with the health phase, you're using 1.67/7 grams per kilo of muscle mass of androgens whilst doing this and whilst doing that and then doing some blood work. Dude, what you're doing in the health phase is you're dropping the gear down and you're getting some blood tests. That's it. So let's not fool the people into thinking you've invented something, right? You haven't. You're just getting a blood test.
Yeah.
Seriously. I hear it all the time. Oh, you're just doing this health phase right now. Well, what, you came off and you had a blood test? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And what, you went back to maintenance calories, did you? Is that what you're doing? I don't know, mate. Call me out on it. I don't really care.
Dude, I just don't get they're just complicated. Doesn't need to be so complicated.
You reckon Ronnie Coleman did a deload?
No, Ronnie did. Look, my deload is if I'm tired today, I'm not going to train.
Right. I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah. What's like?
I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. I'm just asking.
Look, I'm saying like I would just prefer to deload and not go on the gym. Like that's going to be a mad rest because you just don't lift weights. And then when you go back to the gym, you'll be fresh and you can lift weights again.
Right. So how many people do you see do a show and the very next morning they're in the show and then you get this caption up putting them calories to good use? Oh, if only it worked that way.
Yeah, but it does work that way, but it's normal because
It's
you
a
have
pump, man. It's a
eat
pump because
post show, and
yeah.
then the first thing you want to do if you're a
Yeah.
normal fucking cunt is go and get a sick pump because you haven't had one in 6 weeks. Right? You're not putting the calories to good use. You're just getting a mad pump because you just ate a fucking shit meal or you just ate a night worth of shit food, which is fine too.
Right.
I'd put my hand up and say I do that all the time. Like
Yeah.
that was the best thing post show.
I never train post show, and it's not. I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm right.
That's another opposite thing that we've had.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and that's the
Say
beauty. That's why
post-show,
everything should
you
be
won't.
respected. But
Yeah.
once again, people need to also look at. They need to look at certain health markers. I'm not going to go health phase here, but certain health markers and look at stress related things and issues like that and go, do you know what? Sometimes it is better just to have a rest. You know what I mean? And, going and getting your session out if you need to the day after a show is fine. But having a week off post show, there's nothing wrong with that either, man. You know what I mean?
I do that like a few weeks after, only because after the show, I fucking like, dude, I love to eat, yeah? I needed to go train to move some shit around.
You're the only person I've seen spend $96 at McDonald's.
Dude, I can do that now with even the flinch.
Yeah, but that was in 2014. Things were cheaper then.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember when I did the photo shoot after the Nationals and Connor drove me to the shoot? Right. But I didn't get to sleep much.
Was it the one we did together or no?
No. This one was the one where he drove me from Brighton to Seven Hills. And we stopped at Macca's twice on the way because I needed to wake myself up. 154 of Macca's on the way to the shoot. I had to do the shoot with a single on because I was so bloated. But I was full as a bull.
I remember doing one with you there and eating donuts all morning.
Yeah, that's when we started at 7 o'clock with Rapetti and finished with Charles.
So we did Dan Rapetti and Charles Lothian back-to-back photo shoots.
Yep.
That's right. That was at Riley's too.
Yes, yeah, it
was.
When it was still red and black.
Yes.
Yeah. Apologies, go home.
I do.
That were the good days.
Yeah.
Oh, the good days. I even notice people don't do the photo shoots that much these days, either. Not the way we used to do it back in the day.
Do you reckon it's just because people are just doing that many more shows now than what we like? I mean, back then I used to do I used to do one show every 2 years.
Yeah. But that's why the people aren't really improving too much show to show either. And that's not me saying that, like, not me being a dick. And I'm not going to speak because I don't compete no more. Yeah. But like the improvements take a long time, right?
Yeah.
To put on 2-3 kilos of muscle in a calendar year is spectacular.
Yeah.
Of proper muscle. Do you know what I mean? But if you're going show to show to show, unless you're just doing it to the joy to compete, not to improve, but I think also like social media wasn't as prevalent back then either for like that show gratification.
Yeah.
But I think by them doing too many shows also, they're not putting 100% into the prep. Whereas you can take a good 18 months off, no prep, get your head right, get your body right, and then like that prep you go all in. And it shows when you step on stage, like you took the time to rest, you took the time to get everything in order, and then went all in on the prep. Because everyone can prep up to like fucking 8 weeks out, and then it's very hard to keep it together.
I agree. I did a show, had a year off, did another show, and then I went to do the following year, and I didn't quite make it, had a mishap, but that was another story. And I just didn't like it. I didn't like it for the fact that the off season basically felt like 5 months, to be honest. It was like by the time I got over the show, got myself back into swing, I felt like I had 5 months and then went into the prep. And then that was it. That's when I decided that the following year I'd do 2 years again. And then it was constantly feeling like I had 16, 17 months every time as an off season to try and improve.
Do you think they do that because they can't stay in good shape if they're not getting ready for a show?
No. I mean, yes, I think for some, yes, but I think the majority, no. I think the answer, you already hit it. The answer is social media. They're doing it so they're in shape all the time, you know, and that's
Yeah, but
it.
like that's what I mean. So they have to be in a prep to be in shape, yeah? They can't go 12 months without staying in decent
Well,
shape.
let's call it how it is, man. The average person doesn't have a lot of discipline, eh? Like, I mean, if you measure the people, everyone that competes has got discipline, right? But the thing that separates the top percentiles is extreme discipline versus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what the difference is, you know, like, okay, here's a classic example. We've seen Wessels, right? Obviously condition master, right? We've seen him compete numerous times over the years, back since the early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
All the way through. He actually did a photo shoot with Shembri at one point. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, dude.
He wasn't competing then. He just prepped to complete contest shape for the photo shoot. Now, the average person can't do that. They can't.
Yeah.
Because they won't. They'll always go, I'm not doing a show. I'll just cut it short. The dude didn't cut it short. He went all the way, balls in, and did the whole thing. So that also leads to the same situation we always talk about, is that people's idea of what conditioning really is, true conditioning, and the level of differs dramatically between some people. Some people's condition is what some people would consider, 6 or 8 weeks out, unfortunately.
I'm still in the belief that unless you start your prep at a good spot, by the time you hit the stage, you can't be conditioned even if you're in shape, because your body's tired.
Right. So I agree with you. So in other words, if you're ready early, and this is the point, if you get ready early and allow the body time to consolidate and stabilize food, hypothetically, if
and you could also pull cardio if you've got the body fat off.
Yeah.
Eat more because the metabolism will start to fucking race. Rest more because you won't have to train as much. Therefore, you'll be fresh.
Right. So
as opposed to 2 weeks out going, fuck, 3 hours cardio, broccoli and fish.
So you're trying to do your best to manage cortisol and other stress-related factors. That's what you're doing. I agree. People that come in early, that are ready early, and they're lean for a long period of time, it seems as though it takes them longer to get out of shape if they were trying to get out of shape. The people that seem to come in at the final hour in a show, they seem to be the ones that about 2 weeks after a show, you can't even tell that they did a show. Now, what do you think the coincidence is there? I don't know. The coincidence to me is that they haven't occupied that lean level of space for a long period of time, right? And created a new sort of normal level. So I don't know, man, I'm really big on being ready early. You know that. So, and you don't want to be racing against the clock at the end. The amount of stress that's on your head when that's happening, too many factors can go against you.
Yes, true. Yeah, I agree. So the moral of the story is to start your prep in a good spot and get ready early.
Yeah, and don't get fat in your off season.
But it's uncomfortable to be fat too. And to be fair, no one really likes a fat person.
Well, you know what? We've all done it at some point in our career. Obviously, earlier in the career, when you're smaller, you're just rushing to get big, so you get fat, right? But you get to a point where you just realize that there's just no benefit in being fat. I mean, adipose tissue doesn't do anything other than sit there. It doesn't lift anything. It doesn't move anything. It just sits there. So it's basically like going, hey, Jimmy, here, you're 110 kilos. Here's a 20-kilo backpack. Walk around with this all day. What's it doing? Nothing.
That's the reason why I can't let myself get fat.
Yeah.
Likewise, 10 kilos of fat on this, that's going to be 130 fat. That's going to be an uncomfortable day.
I'm the same, Jimmy. 95 lean is very, very comfortable. It's big enough for me. If I get to 105, I'd still look lean, right? But I'm uncomfortable. I snore. I can feel it. I feel more fatigued. I don't like it. And on top of that, at my age now, there's no point in it.
No, I agree. I like to. If I had my ideal weight right now, I'd be 115.
Well, you will be soon.
Day to day. The gym, training sucks. Training full blown at 130 is fun, but it's only fun for 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll love you and leave you.
Done.
Next week we'll have the Chris Bumstead results.
Yes.
We should try and get a guest on next week. I'll talk to a couple of people.
Okay. So this weekend we've got John Jones, Stipe.
Yep.
We've got Tyson, and we've got Jake Paul.
Yep.
And we've got the Prague Pro.
C-Bum versus Martin Fitzwater.
Right. Done.
I'm
going to make you tip there.
Oh, easy. I'm going to go Martin. I'm going to go Tyson. And I'm going to go John Jones.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go. You're on a roll with Martin, but I'm going to go Bumstead for the reason that I think they're going to want him to come back next year and do it. And I think if he wins there, he might be inclined to come back.
If he wins, he's going to compete at the Olympia.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, so, I want him to. I would like him to win.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get trapped in the whole Kevin Levrone situation of years past, where I believe something because I want to believe it, not because of what I'm going to see in front of my eyes. And I keep going back to Andrew Jack being told he's not big enough. If Andrew Jack's not fucking big enough, Chris Bumstead's not going to be big enough.
Mm. The Levrone thing is hard too. I'm not, because I'm a big fan, right? Sorry, well, we'll leave it.
I picked him to win that year.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan, right? And could he have won an Olympia in that period? Yes, he could have, right? There's no doubt. Should he have? Who knows? There's a couple of them that could have in that period. Flex could have won one. Sean Ray arguably could have won one in that period too. In any other era, they would have all won Olympias, all of them.
Yeah.
So the desire to come back and have a crack later, you can kind of understand because, imagine copping fucking Dorian and fucking Coleman back to back and just closing out a decade. Like, that's just not fair, So anyhow, enough of me.
All right. Well, until next week, Chris.
Take care, my friend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been This is Fitness. With over 60 combined years in the fitness world, Jimmy and Chris have walked the walk and are here to share what really works. Their passion is to explore new trends, dispel myths, and call out the stupidity within the industry. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Chris on social media at Chris Thomas Alpha Ethos and his website at alpha-ethos.com. Find Jimmy on social media at jimmysadak.designercoaching and his website at www.jimmysadak.com. See you next time on This is Fitness.